things change. Okay, so I'm going to give you some scary formulas later on, but they're not really that scary. They just look like it at first. Um, I just want to know, like show of hands, how many of you have been involved in the purchase of a vehicle? Doesn't have to be your own, but just you were involved. Okay, I see a bunch of hands like this, so it's awesome. Thank you. So some of this you might be like, yeah, I know this stuff already, right? But some of it might be new. You maybe didn't pay attention to it the first time. Because let me tell you, I bought several cars in my life, and I don't think I'm rich. As like $1,000 car here and there. Like I drove it for a while, right? And then I sell it, get a new one, new to me. And so a lot of these things I wish I would have known because it makes life easier. Okay. So the two big distinctions when you're buying a used vehicle, the two big uh, words that you need to watch out what follows that word used. Is it at a dealership or is it a private sale? At a dealership, I want you to right away think of you're gonna have to pay 12% taxes on that car. You pay PST and GST. Okay, PST plus GST. When you're buying private, you're only paying PST, which is 7%. And we will go into the details as to the 7%. Where does that go? Right. Some definitions here, and some of these you already know. Every car in Manitoba, before it hits the road, before it can be registered, it needs to pass a safety inspection. Right. Prior to insuring your vehicle, it needs to pass a safety, and it's called the COI, right? The Certificate of Inspection. And there's a sample of it on page 9, which I'm going to look at later. How long is the safety valid for? If it passes today, how long is it good for? 6 months? A little bit more. 12 months. A year. Yeah. Again, I would say always check because these things might change over time, but in general, 12 months. So if you're buying this car and you can look at the date of the safety, let's say it was done like a month ago, the owner decided to do the safety, you can buy the car, drive it for a couple months, sell it again with that same safety inspection. You don't have to get it safetied again. Because safety can cost you a lot of money. Because really what they do is they have like over 100 check boxes. The mechanic checks the brakes, checks the tires, checks the frame, rust, everything, the lights, everything gets checked. And if something is wrong, it needs to be replaced. Okay. Book value, the value of the car based on its make and age. Can I add something here? And mileage. So I would encourage you to do this as well. You can go online and look up the value of that car that you're trying to buy. The year, how many kilometers, and the Kelly Blue Book is one of them. It's more in the US, but there's very different websites. If you go to Auto Trader, they kind of have like an idea of what your car is worth. It could be more, it could be less, right? But AutoPack, I call AutoPack actually before I go and make the final deal. Any AutoPack agent, just tell them, can you give me the book value of the car? What car are you planning on buying? Honda Civic this year, this many miles, and then they'll give you a ballpark price of what they think it's worth. It's not always accurate. It's usually off by quite a bit, but then you know baseline, okay? So we're going to use that a lot, book value. It's going to come up a lot. Purchase price, the value paid for the vehicle, and watch what it says here. It may be more or less than the book value. Very important to remember. A trade-in, obviously you know what a trade-in is. It's taking your car, that'll be at a dealership. It can also be done privately, but most of the time private sales do not involve trade-ins. Parts and labor, any repairs, right, or work done as well as being replaced are taxed PST and GST. So parts and labor are considered, they will be taxed 12%. It used to be 7, but it's actually now 12, both of them. So the hours that the mechanic works on it and the parts, all 12%. Lien search, what is a lien search? I will tell you, this is the most important part of lien. A lien serves to guarantee an underlying obligation, such as a repayment of a loan. I don't know why no is there, so get rid of it. I need to edit that file. What is a lien? Okay. You don't have to necessarily write this down, but I will give you an idea. So this is your bank, right? This is the bank. This is the car you're buying. Okay. Sorry. My kids laugh at me all the time. You can do the same. Let's say you're buying this car, but you're getting a loan from the bank. Every single car has something called a VIN number. Did you know that? Vehicle identification number. It's unique to every car, is very unique. It's it's usually on your dashboard. You can look at it there. And so the bank gives you the money, right? It gives you the money, and the bank will register this VIN in a registry, and they say they put a lien on it, right? So the bank says, hey, yeah, take 10,000 to buy the car, and they're like, okay, give us the VIN number. Then they go to a national registry, and they put a lien on it. It's almost like they bind it. You can't sell it unless you make sure you pay off your loan. And so why does it say lien search? I would strongly recommend you spend a bit of money, and you can get that VIN number from the person you're trying to buy. It's make sure you double check that that's the one. And then you type that into, you can Google it, Carfax. You know Carfax is that website that finds the history of your car. They now have an option to do a lien search. Why is that important? Because if somebody sells you that car and they haven't paid off the loan, the bank can actually come and get that car, take it away from you, and you don't get a penny, because it technically belongs to the bank until it's completely paid off, right? So you want to make sure there is no lien on that car before you buy it. If you do Carfax, it costs a bit more to do a lien search. So it will tell you any accidents the car was in and if there's a lien on that car. So let's put down Carfax here. And not today, but I will show you on the website. I'll show you where to go and try that out. Maybe I'll get my VIN number, we'll plug it in, and see if there's a lien on my car, which there should be because I'm owing money on it. Okay. All right. Probably won't be able to do it because I have to pay, and I don't know if I want to pay. But anyways. Next, so those were some definitions. Lien will show up from time to time, so keep that in mind. So this chart kind of summarizes everything, like in terms of taxes paid in different scenarios. So if you buy a new car, you pay PST and GST, so 12%. Right? We knew that already, no surprises. Buying a used car at a dealership, you still pay 12%, nothing changes. Buying used private, I'm going to highlight private because that's when things change. Read carefully. If you're kind of dozing off, now you need to pay attention. Read this here. No GST, right? So we don't pay GST. We only pay PST. So yes, it's 7%. But this is what you need to read carefully. Calculated on the greater of the book value or the purchase price. Okay, I'm going to write this down right next to it. Greater of book or purchase price. And here I need to stop here once because a lot of mistakes are made here. Okay. So this is just going to be a complete aside. You don't have to write this down. I think you're going to get it after I give you this example. Okay. So let's say it's a private sale. So you know it's only 7%. And let's say you're buying, I don't know why I'm always talking Honda Civic. I don't know. I should maybe change it up a little bit. Yeah, it's a great car. It lasts forever. Yeah, you have one? Okay, so let's say you go on Kijiji. I'm not going to talk year or anything. Just go on Kijiji and you see one and it's worth $9,000. Okay? That is the purchase price. Then you go and look it up, or AutoPack does. You don't. Like they have a book value. And they look up, actually that car in our book, don't worry about it if it's less. It's not like you got ripped off. It's just, that's just what it is. If you do your research, you know whether or not you got ripped off, right? If it's purchase and book, which one are you going to pay taxes on? The purchase price. Exactly. They're going to tax the 7% on that purchase price. Different scenario. You buy an F-150. Let's say you bought it for $29,000. But AutoPack looks up the year, the make, the model, and in their books, that truck is worth $34,000. Which one are you going to pay taxes on? The higher price. It's always the higher of the two. Okay? So then they're like, thank you very much. AutoPack wants the most. You know why this is happening? One of the biggest reasons is there used to be sales where they said, I sold it for like $1,000, even though that truck was actually purchased for, on the bill of sale, people would just put down a really low amount so that they would cheat on the taxes. And so AutoPack said, no. We have a book value, so don't try to cheat it, right? Like you're gonna have to pay a minimum anyways, so don't try to cheat on it. I wouldn't recommend it anyways. Don't do it because you can get in trouble, right? So that's one of the reasons, okay? So I hope you understand that there will always be two prices. Like when it's a private sale, you have to pick which one is going to be taxed on. It's always the greater number, okay? But sorry, how much are you actually paying for the truck in this case? How much are you paying for the truck? You're paying 29 grand, but you're paying taxes on this. Let's just quickly do the math here. 34,000 times 0.07, you're going to pay 2380 on taxes. So you're going to pay 29,000 to the owner. Who gets this money? Who? Government, yeah. But who would you give the money to? To the owner? Don't give it to the owner. He's gone. He or she is gone with that money. Don't do it. You pay this when you go to register it. When you go into AutoPack, you give them everything. They're going to make sure you owe us $23.80 plus whatever other fees, right, for insurance. So that's when you pay it. Okay, I think you got it. That little illustration makes a difference later on. Safety, no PST, only GST. So safety in this province is 5%. Materials and labor, PST and GST, we already talked about it. It's 12%. Can you just put parts as well? Like some students are, you never talked about parts, you only talked about materials. It's the same thing, okay? Watch this, a lien search, no PST, no GST. So there are no taxes on a lien, on a search. So if you pay $30 to complete the search, no taxes on it. So that's kind of nice. All right. In order to insure the vehicle in Manitoba, you need three things. You need a certificate of inspection. That's called a safety. You need a bill of sale. You can get it from MPI online. Did you know that? If you, sorry, I was covering the bill of sale, right? If you go online, bill of sale template, AutoPack, boom, you can just print it and it says your name, the owner's name, how much are you selling it for, what's the kilometers on it, what's the VIN number, you fill it in, you both sign it. Pay attention. Make sure you make 2 copies. Don't just make one, you make 2 copies. You both sign all the papers and then you're like, this is your copy, this is my copy, have a good day. And then you go and insure your car. And the last one is a TOD. What is a TOD, Mr. Dixon? Transfer of it's transfer of ownership, but let me just check here. It's called a TOD. I don't know the exact name, but it's transfer of ownership. That's what it means. It doesn't quite make sense, right? But it's a TOD. It is a TOD. I know that for sure. I just don't know exactly what those letters stand for, but it's okay. You don't need to worry about it. I just thought if you don't have these 3 papers in hand and you want to insure it, you will walk out there without insurance. They will say you got to come back and have these 3 things or else you're not, no deal. You know what a TOD is? In your glove box, you probably have a blue paper, right? That's insuring your vehicle. If you flip it backwards, you have to sign. If you're the owner selling it, you have to sign there saying, I'm releasing this vehicle to that other owner. If you don't have that, you're not going to get insurance. So I learned the hard way. Yeah. Yes, if you're buying new, you still need all 3, except for the safety, the dealership. Like usually safety just passes, right? It's brand new. Bill of sale, the dealer should give you a bill of sale for sure, like a receipt. And the transfer of ownership, they will give you, you know what? Let me do some research on the transfer of ownership, but I'm thinking they're transferring it from them to you. So I will have to check on that. I will go to my car today and figure it out for sure. All right. Let's go to page 9 just so you have an idea. This is a safety. That's a safety paper. You see all those check boxes there? That's all they check for. Every single thing that is on that checkbox, they check. One more thing. This is important. I learned the hard way. I was not able to insure my car. This safety has 3 copies. There's a white, a pink, and a yellow. You need the white one to insure. Luckily I wasn't too far away from the owner, but he gave me the pink one. I went to, it's like, no, sir, we need the white copy. It's like, so I had to go back and get the white copy. So make sure you get that white copy. And this is the template on AutoPack's website, which is a bill of sale. So you just know kind of what to go for, right? All right, let's do some math here. And you know what? Here's the bottom line. You learned a bunch of things that I was talking about. You might forget about it in about an hour, right? Call your AutoPack agent before you make a sale. It's like, what do I need again? And they'll tell you this, this, and this. Anybody in your area, just call them up, Google Maps, right? Type in AutoPack, whatever shows up closest to you, they should know that answer. All right, so formulas. I'm going to just make sure I'm consistent here. Okay, so it's a long formula. So use dealer, that's what UD stands for. And so basically a lot of it will be the same as before. Sticker minus trade. I'm just going to call trade, okay? Oh, this is on 7. Yeah, yeah. Sticker minus trade, no surprises there. This is also not a surprise, right? Same thing. What is sticker again? Base, options, and transportation, if it's there, right? You would take any trade-in that is there, multiply by 1.12. Now, if they mention safety, we take the safety and we multiply it by 1.05. Then, this is always if there's safety, right? If there's parts and labor, right? We multiply that by 1.12 because it's also taxed 12%. You following? Yeah. Yeah. It is taxed 5%. So I hope you're asking yourself the question, and I will answer it. Why is it 1.05, not 112? Because it's only 5%, right? We're adding 5%. Parts and labor, 1.12. And lien, is lien taxed? Nope, not taxed in this province. So it's just like that. It's just like a standalone number. And there you go. So let's box this in because I told you anything that's boxed in is very important. And I will just make a note here that P&L stands for parts and labor. And I will make a note here, put a star. So when buying from a dealer, right? When buying from a dealer, that's what it says there. Safety, parts and labor, any parts and labor that would be needed to safety it, and a lien search, right, is usually included. So what am I saying with that? That most dealers, if they're good, they're gonna have done this already. So whatever price you see on the windshield, that is it. That's the price, right? So they're not gonna be like, oh, and by the way, that car needs safety, so it's gonna be another $1,000, right? Or it's not gonna be like that, most likely. So just keep that in mind. And that's a little small. Hope you can still see it. Okay, so that's buying from a dealer. Now, let's go through scenarios here. So I want you to understand the formula. Okay, let's say this question, there's a question that all they talk about is parts and labor. It's like this car is brought into the shop, and these parts are replaced, and it takes 3 hours to do so, $100 an hour. You might think like, whoa, Mr. Dirksen didn't give me a formula for parts and labor. It's like, yes, I did. Cover that, cover everything that isn't there, and what are you left with? Parts and labor will be taxed 12%. But if there's a question that all they have is the price of a car, there's no trade-in, but there's a lien search. Well, then you just, right, get rid of whatever doesn't belong. Trade-in would be gone, right? So this is kind of like a morphing live formula, right? So keep that in mind. That way you're not going to have like 5 different formulas, right? I'm just going to give you one. And here's the used one. And because it's longer than this one, it's not because it's scarier, it's just because I need to write a little bit more to clarify. So I'm going to get rid of this and start further on the left. So used private. Pay close attention to this one. It's the purchase price plus book slash purchase. And do you remember what we talked about, right? If it's private, it's going to be the greater of the two, correct? Not both. It's going to be the greater of the two times, you ready for this? You're so used to 1 point something, right? It's 0.07. It's 0.07. And the reason being is because you agreed at a price, and then this bracket calculates the PST, right? So this is the PST on your purchase. But that is determined between those two prices. I have to give you a book value when it's a private sale. I can't just give you the actual purchase price. If that ever happens, then we're just going to assume that the purchase price is what we're paying taxes on. But it shouldn't happen. Okay, plus, now we're going to go back and then fill in the rest here, just like in the previous one. So I hope that fits in. So I'm going to be conservative with my spacing here. Yikes. This is going to be, the pilot is struggling to find enough room to land this ship here, or this plane. I hope you can see the whole thing. But the last 3 pieces are exactly the same as up here. So I do that on purpose so that, right, that part you should remember. But it's the first part here where you don't. So let's box all of this in. There you go. Okay, I will make a note here. Note, this is very important. I'm going to highlight this after. The formulas above calculate the cost, the total cost after tax. Okay. So I'm going to go up a bit. So the formulas above calculate the total cost after tax. So please, after using them, do not go ahead and go, oh, after tax times 1.12 again, because you're double taxing. Okay. Do not add taxes again. Yeah. And I think instead of highlighting, I'm just going to underline, because it's going to smudge it if I highlight my pencil. So what am I saying? Like, some students plug everything in, it's beautiful, they get to the final answer, and then they go back to the questions like, oh, it says after tax times 1.12 again. And I'm like, no, because you were taxed already 7%, 5%, 12%, right? The taxes are taken care of. And you're going ahead and adding taxes again. That's a cruel world to live in, right? To get double taxed. So please pay attention to that. Anyways, I do that. I do that because it happens way too often. Anyways, let's go and do some math here. You agree on the price on a price of $12,999 for a used car at a local dealership. So remember, when you see used, you should watch for is it dealership or private. You add a remote starter for $499.99. The dealer offers $3,500 as a trade-in. So find the total including tax. So I'm going to go and try to make the formula appear for used dealer, which is way up here, right? And so I'm going to say this is used dealer. Sticker price, what is that again? That's $12,999 plus remote starter. I would see that as an option. And some of you might be like, Mr. Jerkson, isn't that parts and labor? It could be. And you know what? If you see that as parts and labor, you're going to be right as well. Because you're still going to add 12% taxes to it. So not a big deal. So I go this plus that minus the trade-in. And I will just make sure I note this. This is sticker. And this is the trade. Okay. What about safety? What about parts and labor? What about lien? Replace all of those with zeros or just don't worry about them, right? So this is it. So I just got to make sure I multiply that by 1.12. And then I'm going to clean this up a little bit. This part right here is 9,998.99 times 1.12. Now I'm going to put a dollar sign down because it's my final answer. 11,198.87. So I'm going to just move it up a bit so you can see it better. So go ahead and write that down. So there was no lien search, no safety, no parts and labor. So it really just came down to this. It's almost like buying a new car, right? This is basically what it came down to. All right, next, Joel finds a Ford F-150 for $24,900. It's private, so obviously it's used, right? We're in the used category. The seller, as is, right? There's that book value. The book value is $32,000 for that car. And there's a $65 safety as well as a $30 lien search. Calculate the total cost after tax. So let's see how we do that. I wish I could have that formula ready to go. So you just look at that formula, this one right here, because it's a private. So I'm going to follow this to the T, okay? So let's go here. And so use private. The purchase price is the $24,900. That's what you agreed to pay for it. Then it says plus. Can you make sure it's plus, not times? A lot of students multiply it, right? So it's purchase price plus what's going to go next? Which one of these two are you going to put in there? The book value, because it's greater, okay? I'm going to use a red pen here. Just something that stands out. I'm going to multiply that by, in this case, it's the book, right? Book is greater. And then we're going to keep going. The formula says next, we're going to tackle the safety. So you take that $65 safety, multiply it by 1.05, because you're going to pay safety plus the 5%, right? Any parts and labor? No, right? So forget about it. But there's a lien surge. No taxes on the lien, right? Leave it like that. I'm going to make an arrow. No taxes, right? Now it's all about cleaning it up, right? Please don't do it in one shot. If you make a mistake, it's going to be, so let's go ahead and calculate that. 32,000 times 0.07, that's 2240. Plus 65 times 1.05, 6825. Plus the 30 bucks. So once you've done that, once you've cleaned up every single bracket, and notice again, I will make sure that you understand that this is the PST you're paying on the car. Right? So those are your taxes, okay? Those are your taxes right there. Now I'm ready to give my final answer. So I'm just gonna go and add it up. 27,238.25. I'm going to circle it, and I'm going to say after tax. So that is including your taxes. The formulas I gave you include the taxes. No need to do 1.12. If you do that, I'm actually going to take a full mark off because you don't understand. At least that's what I'm seeing. You don't understand what's happening, right? Okay. How much did Joel pay in taxes? And I'll show you the trick here. I'm going to quickly rewrite my formula. This we know would be our, oh, sorry. We're not paying 24,000 in taxes, are we? You just take the 32,000 times 0.07 from up here. We will add 65. If you only want the taxes, what does this convert to? 0.05, correct? Listen carefully here, right? This one turns into a 0 because we just want the taxes. Does that make sense? Plus, did you pay any taxes on the lien? No, so that no plus. We're done. This we can cheat. We can just say we know this is 2240, and you can actually just do some mental math, right? $3.25. But if you need to do this again, right, you just go $3.25 on the safety, because I want you to know, right, how much did we pay in taxes? 2243.25. Taxes only. Okay. So this is what I always do. When I look at a car on Kijiji, I always just go times 0.007. Then I kind of know this is how much money I need to put aside for taxes. It might be a bit more, might be a bit less. You don't know until you know the book value, right? Okay, now we go over to page 8. And there are two questions there that I want you to try. On your own? Yes, on your own. So I'm letting go, right? Letting go. We take the training wheels off. And we're going to give that a try. So on page 8, try those two questions. Read carefully, highlight, underline. Oh, by the way, you can have the formula, right? Just have the formula right next to you, right? And just try to figure that out. And I'll come back and do this, so don't worry too much about getting it right. Just focus. Let me try and go through this question real quick. So I will do the parts and labor on the side. And so obviously we're buying, it's for private sale. This is how much you're paying for the car. Remember that? We're paying $9,500. In order to pass the COI, which is the safety, we need 2 new lights at $60 each, 4 brakes at $150 each. We need a tune-up for $190, and it takes 2 hours at $65 per hour. There's a safety check. Oh my goodness, right? Lots of stuff happening here. The book value is 10 grand. Calculate the total purchase price after tax. You should have recognized that this is used private. Okay. Parts and labor, I'm just going to quickly do that here. 2 times 60 is 120. 4 times 150 is 600. The tune-up is 190. I'm just going to throw that in there. And 2 hours times 65, right? You work 2 hours, $65. That's 130. So the labor is 1,040. I hope you got that part. So all the labor, 1,040 so far. Now I'm going to start my journey. So the 9,500 comes first. Then, which one is greater? It's the book value. Can I just say something? It's not always going to be the book value. Sometimes the book value is just going to be there to throw you off. Like, let's say the book value had been 8 grand. It would not show up at all, okay? Because that means this is greater, so you put the 9,500 back in here. Okay, so remember that. So 10,000, the book value wins again. 7% on that. My safety is $40. I'm going to tax that. Make sure there's pluses in between every chunk, okay? There's no lien search. Okay, so we need to just parts and labor. Don't forget about that. Now we have, this is a good setup, right? So now I'm going to clean this up a bit. This is 700, right? 700 bucks even. This gets you 42. This gets you 1164.80. So chunk, add it all up. If you add that all up, you get 11,406.80. It says, oh, it says after tax. Okay, hold on. Right? Don't do that. Don't do that. I would almost say do that, like do one of those and just say that's wrong, right? That's double taxing. Right? I don't know. Sometimes to me that helps. Just like, okay, don't do it, right? We good? Okay. If you didn't get it right, forget. Like, don't sweat it. Okay, that's not what this is about. Right now, it's like you got your feet wet, you tried it, and hopefully you got it now. Okay. Taxes paid, taxes only. So I'm gonna go and just get those brackets. This is the PST I paid on the car. I'm going to take my safety bracket But watch, I'm turning the ones into zeros because all I want is the tax, not the 40 as well. I'm taking the parts and labor and I'm turning that into 0.12. 700. This is just $2. This is, I need to go on my key here, 124.80. If you add that all up, now I put a dollar sign down, 826.80, taxes only. So really, if you did your work previously, hey, what if I threw a curveball right at you? What if this question never asked you to find the total after tax? What if it just went straight to here? Well, you would have had to make sure that you change these, right? What if there had been a lien search? It's not taxed anyway, so you wouldn't even consider it, right? And this is always 0. Okay. And I made a typo here. Total taxes paid in A. Okay. Let's do one more before we go. I'm going to just say this. Pages 10 to 12. Homework. Page 10 to 12. So it's a bit more, but this is more challenging. And so I know I'm going to kind of get right to the end of this. So should I just leave this one? I'll give you the answer. So, because I know you're getting ready, your stomachs are probably saying, get me out of here, right? Okay, here it is. 19,130 and 16 cents. And if you want to take it a step further, this is taxes only. If you want to try that again, taxes only. Write that down and you have it. I will post the answer key to pages 10 to 12, and you will have an AC tomorrow. So AC could have new and used. Yeah.